Welcome, everyone. My name is Garrett Westlake, and I'm the Associate Vice Provost for Innovation and the Executive Director of the Da Vinci Center for Innovation here at Virginia Commonwealth University. We're really excited that you're interested in our flagship offering at the Da Vinci Center, which is a Master's in Product Innovation. One of the first of its kind in the United States, the Master's in Product Innovation is a cutting-edge degree that prepares you for what's next in industry, in entrepreneurship, and intrapreneurship. We're going to go over some specifics of the program for you, and hopefully you're going to walk away learning a lot more about the types of courses, projects, and experiences that you would have in a program like this. So let's get into it. A little bit of background about the Da Vinci Center. Established more than 17 years ago, the Da Vinci Center was founded to really live at the intersection of multiple disciplines. How can we teach business, engineering, design, and other related fields in a way that prepares innovators for what's next in society and industry? To that end, we have a charter that we believe represents the values and mission and vision of what it is that we are trying to accomplish as faculty and staff and the type of learner that we produce here at the center. You'll also see that we have design aspirations. We are active participants at Da Vinci in trying to prototype the future of higher education. And our design aspirations are what allow us to do this work consistently and repeatably while also being innovative along the way. And I have to call out that you'll see that the first thing that we are all about here at Da Vinci, and especially in the Masters of Product Innovation program, is being student-focused. We do this work because we enjoy working alongside students. You'll see examples throughout this workshop of how faculty and staff enjoy working in a small cohort-based program to walk alongside students, to learn more about what they're learning, to learn how we can apply those skills and tools together. One of the ways that we are prototyping the future of education is through our Shift Retail Lab. Opening in 2021, the Shift Retail Lab immediately received recognition from Fast Company magazine as a runner-up or as an honorable mention for world-changing ideas. This idea that you could have a space on a university campus for students to test new products and services directly with members of the community has evolved over the last several years to an internationally recognized program. This past fall, we were recognized by Fast Company as the outright winner of their Innovation by Design Award in the learning category for our use of micro-credentials and digital badges to give students specific skill sets in service to their project, idea, and sometimes ultimately their company. Last year, we had more than 147 startup companies come through the doors at the Shift Retail Lab. We hosted over 9,000 visitors through this space. It's become one of the most dynamic places on campus and in the Richmond community where people come to see what the future holds. This is what we see as the classroom of the future. Gone are the days of just standing in a classroom, clicking through PowerPoint slides. That is not how we teach product innovation. You'll have the opportunity to put things on the shelf, to host experiences in AR and VR, to use new technologies to meet your prospective customer or user where they are. We think that this is the type of new teaching methodology that's required to be a leading innovative program going forward. Students in the Shift Retail Lab are also having the chance to work with students and partners around the world as we establish new relationships with other institutions through the Shift Labs network. So we hope this gives you a little bit of a taste of the context in which the Masters of Product Innovation program sits. We offer a whole slew of other academic offerings at the Da Vinci Center that we draw inspiration from in service to this MPI degree. Now, I think for some of you, the MPI degree is probably new. You're not as familiar with an MPI as you are an MBA. And I think that there are pros to this new approach. It might feel a little awkward or a little different at first at Thanksgiving dinner to have to explain what an MPI is to a relative. But I can guarantee you that that same conversation feels really different when you're applying for a job or when you're out raising a round of funding. The idea that the future requires skill sets from multiple disciplines is well documented in industry and in the startup space. As a former tech founder myself, I know the value of having a cross-disciplinary team and being able to leverage those different strengths when you're first starting out a brand new company and you don't have all the people you need to fill all the roles that you wish you had. The same thing exists within industry where our corporate advisory board at the Da Vinci Center, made up of Fortune 500 companies like Adobe, Capital One, and CarMax, consistently come back to us and help us refine the curriculum and continue to call out the importance of a cross-disciplinary approach that you'll find in the MPI. So we hope you're excited to join us at this Masters of Product Innovation program. If you still have questions at the end of this, feel free to reach out to any of the presenters you see here today. We'd be happy to talk through more details with you. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Director of Academic Alchemy, Allison Schumacher, who can walk you through some of the other academic programs we offer here at the Da Vinci Center.
Great, thank you so much, Garrett. Welcome, everybody. Glad to see you here. My name's Allison Schumacher, like Garrett said. At the Da Vinci Center, I've been here for a very long time at VCU and have seen these programs really grow. And there's a distinct difference between what we do at undergrad level and what we do at the graduate level. And so quickly, I'll walk through that and then we can give some more details. So at the undergraduate level, we have a certificate in product innovation and venture creation. Those two certificates are really, I guess, the core difference is that in product innovation, you are bringing in, or we're bringing in those ideas and from industry, from nonprofits, from local startups. And on the entrepreneurship side, or the venture creation side, those problems come from you. What are the problems that you're trying to solve for the world and create your own products and businesses and services? At the graduate, and we also cannot forget, we also have courses in human-centered design. And all three of those things coming together really help form our Master of Product Innovation. Obviously, the courses are a bit more challenging as they would be at the master's level, but everything we do is underpinned by human-centered design. How do we use empathy in order to develop products and services? How do we know that what we're creating is going to connect with an audience, with a market? And then we also have a graduate certificate in healthcare innovation. This really is a combination between nursing and the MPI program to really help people who are practitioners and care providers and people who really want to develop products for the healthcare system come together and kind of learn the basics of how to do that. Mary Chris, you want to flip to the next slide? Get into those a little bit more. So let's dive in. This is a graduate info session, so let's talk graduate. So the Master of Product Innovation is about 13 to 18 months. You can go part-time and extend it to 2 years. But ultimately, it's really designed to be that 13 or 18 months. So you get in, you get out, and that's really, really fast in comparison to a lot of master's programs. It is very much cross-disciplinary. You take courses in arts and business and technology, combine all those things together, learn how other people who come from different backgrounds, how they think through ideas that in ways that are different than yours, or think through problem solving in a way that's different than you do. We do advanced product innovation. So every class that we're taking, even if you come from business, taking our business class might be a good benefit because we're talking about it through the lens of innovation and through the lens of entrepreneurship. In this, culminating all of those things that you're learning as you move towards the entrepreneurship side of your experience in the MPI program, all those skills that you get working with different ideas that we bring in, really, really talking through different subjects in the lens of innovation, you then get to apply that in terms of entrepreneurship. And I'll talk about that a little bit more on the next slide. The graduate certificate in healthcare innovation, like I said, it's a mix between the School of Nursing and the MPI. So it's the School of Nursing's leadership program. It is only 12 credit hours. You can obviously take more, but all you need is a bachelor's degree to apply to this program. It's 6 credits coming from MPI and 6 credits coming from the School of Nursing. And we can work with you to figure out which of those 6 credits are the best fit for you. So that way you're getting out of the program what you really want. Another great perk is that if you belong to the Masters of Leadership program in nursing or the MPI, that if you want to do this graduate certificate in healthcare innovation, you don't have to pay any additional tuition. Those credits can go right into the elective courses that you have for those degrees. And so therefore you can get, a certificate on top of your master's degree for no extra cost, which is pretty cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so the sequence of classes for all of this, we're going to talk about them in a couple different ways. But you know what? I think we should introduce Mary Chris Escobar first. She's been on this call with us for a little while, and she's a really important part of what we do at the Da Vinci Center and our work with students. Mary Chris, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, absolutely. As Allison said, I'm Mary Chris Escobar. I am the Associate Director for Student Success at Da Vinci. And so what that means is I have the privilege of working with MPI students all the way from this point of talking about what our programs are and what we offer, all the way through advising while you're in the program and teaching a course on designing your life, if that's something you're interested in digging into for an elective, applying design thinking to your own journey, and then all the way through to graduation. And so it's a really exciting place to sit. As Garrett said, we're very student focused. And so really enjoy spending time with our students and watching you along your journey. As Allison mentioned, we're going to talk through the sequence of courses here. This is giving you an example of a full-time schedule. If you were to start with us in the fall and want to be on that 13-month track where you basically start in the fall and finish in the fall, we'll also talk through, because some of you might be watching this and be interested in what this program looks like part-time. So we'll give an example of that in just a minute as well. But we also have this slide up because it's a really good way to explain our program by explaining what the coursework that you take is. Again, as Garrett mentioned, MPI is different than an MBA. And I think that difference really shines in talking through what the courses you're going to be taking are and how they're sequenced and truly designed to give you exposure to both the product innovation side as well as the entrepreneurship side of things. I will just mention on both of these, there's some flexibility in this. You can start in the fall, and depending on the choices you make, you can finish in the summer. There's some recommended electives that we want to talk about in here, but as Allison mentioned, if you're interested in healthcare, those courses that you would take through the nursing leadership program actually fulfill the electives. So this is where I sit down with you once you are in the program and we actually come up with a plan that is specific to you. But today we want to just give you an example of what this looks like. So Allison, I'm going to turn it back over to you and let you kind of talk through what the classes are to help give students a feel, or interested students a feel for what the program's all about.
Thank you, Mary Chris. Yes, you'll see a bunch of numbers on the screen. And we tend to talk in numbers here, but I will make sure to clarify what these are. So looking at the fall 24 semester, 501 is our design course, 502 business, 503 technology, and 590 is the project course. So this is a pretty heavy semester. A lot of our students choose to take all 12 credits. Regardless of what background they come from. But if you come from business, you don't have to take 502. If you come from the arts, you don't have to take 501. But like I said, we do teach them through a very different lens. And so you can talk to us. Heck, you can attend the first class and see if it's right for you, to make sure that that you have the right number of credits to be able to move through the program as you wish. So like I said in the previous slide, the 501, 502, 503, the arts, the business, the technology courses, those are really to help examine how do people in industry really look through the lens of innovation and how do they solve problems? So that way, by the time you are working with people who come from these different backgrounds, whether it's in your own company or in industry, that you have an idea of how to have real conversations and how to speak to the things that they value. So that way you can work well as a product team to be able to move something towards commercialization. Now, the 590 course is one that I am lucky enough to teach. And I currently co-teach it with professional Erin Brooks, and she runs Devs.io, which is a wonderful digital product development company. And she really brings in a lot of that real world experience in a very different way than I do. So this course is where I'm going out to industry throughout the year and I'm pulling in projects. It might be from a big company like Dominion Energy. We worked with this past fall, or it might be a smaller company or even internal to VCU. And so I'll give an example of one that, if it's internal to VCU, I think sometimes students don't see that as exciting as maybe some of the others that come from industry, but I have a really good example of one. And the team has named themselves Jaw Droppers. So we had a dental surgeon who reached out to us with a concern about how kind of flimsy and unrealistic the dental shrouds are that dental students use to be able to practice and take their testing for boards to be able to become dentists. So, some of them are made out of latex and people are allergic to latex, and some of them rip very easily, or they're really expensive and they're no longer made. And so our students we're trying to figure out how to do this for the School of Dentistry. None of them come from medical background or even arts that involve sculpting but for the longest time, we've been able to walk downstairs and see our students in our makerspace putting together plaster, trying to mold, one of the previous masks, creating different products that would allow them to like mend the mask that they were creating. They, at the end of this, we figured out that they could start a business. And they started working with manufacturers. They identified that before the end of the course. So yeah, they're looking at the entire market size, how to actually build something like this. They're in the dental school. Heck, one of our students is a pediatric dental surgeon, and he took them into his lab and had them work with some of their first prototypes. But since they did this course in 590, they have incorporated. They have started working with Richmond Small Business Development Center. They've received investment. They're still looking for more. And are actually producing this thing. So there are a lot of heads everywhere, because this thing is basically like the plastic mask that has the mouth, kind of thing. So yeah, we have a lot of heads sitting everywhere in the Da Vinci Center, but it is evidence of this, this problem that came to us, and a problem that had already been validated, right? We knew this was an existing issue, right? Dental school comes to us, our cross-disciplinary teams work to solve those problems. And sometimes they can become a business in the end. Sometimes it's benefiting the business we work with, and sometimes our students get to create it themselves. I love getting the newsletters from jaw droppers updating me on every step they make in this process. And soon we are working directly with a company that supplies dental schools with these particular shrouds, as they're called. So hopefully soon, these will be the shrouds that our own dental students at VCU are using to test and practice on. So excellent example. We have a couple others in there, but to give you an idea of just some of the other stuff that we can work on, this fall semester, we work with Dominion Energy on what the future of solar farms might look like. They are required by state and federal regulations to install so much solar before 2035. And so our students looked at that. What does the community think about that? What do landowners think about that? How does Dominion educate and communicate and find the best ways to be able to put these things out there so that we can start using more clean energy? The students did a great job, but I can't talk about their solutions so much because we did have an NDA. We also worked with, now I'm blanking on the 6 projects that I had this past semester, but those couple examples, I think, give an idea of what it is we're doing. But we deliberately put artists and business and engineers and humanities and sciences and medical students on these teams to, one, put you in an environment that's different than what you're working on, right? Challenge you in a way that you haven't been challenged before. And at the same time, making sure that you have the right skill set to be able to produce something that you're proud of. And then this becomes a portfolio piece. This becomes a story that you get to tell when you're applying for jobs, and how well you're able to work with people who think differently than you do. All right, so moving on to spring, the rest of this will move just a little bit faster. So we're practicing human-centered design, we're practicing arts, technology, business in the fall semester, and then in the spring semester, you get to utilize all those skills in your capstone. So in 0651, it's a 6-credit course, and it's the first half of the MPI capstone. And this is where you're bringing your own idea in, you're borrowing technology from the university, from our tech transfer office, or you're partnering with another MPI. Heck, you can even work with a startup. As long as you have autonomy to solve this product problem and work an idea towards commercialization, you're set with this particular class. And so we have mentors, we have multiple faculty members that are working with you throughout the process to help you get that validation, right? We started that 590 project with a validated problem. Most of the problems that come into 651 haven't been validated yet. We don't know if we have an audience. We don't know if we have a market. Will people buy this thing? Is this a problem that people actually are experiencing? So in that same semester, many of our students also take an elective. If you didn't know this, 9 credits is full-time in a master's program. That's all you need to receive financial aid. It's not a 12 or 15 credit like you would see in undergrad. So elective courses, we have tons of them that we offer. We try to keep as much of our curriculum open to other master's students and at the undergraduate level, undergraduate courses as well. But we have courses, one book, Mary Chris teaches, that just design your life, using design thinking to really imagine what your immediate and long distance future might look like. We have one that's about how to use ChatGPT to make your life easier. We have one that's just called How to Get a Job, funding your startup. you're developing your brand story or your narrative for your brand story. So we have lots and lots of electives that you can use to kind of attach on and build your own adventure, which is kind of wonderful. So looking into summer 2025, we have INNO 600 or INNO 610. So currently we are part of the European Innovation Academy Network. So our students go to the European Innovation Academy sometimes in the summer. So if you should choose, over the pandemic, it used to be required in the program, but over the pandemic, we introduced a second class so that students would be able to fulfill that requirement, dive deep more into design thinking, change management, and how that's used. It's actually taught by somebody who uses those techniques in industry, in primarily the government sector. And you get certifications, official, internationally recognized certifications in 610. And in 600, if you go to the European Innovation Academy, you go to Portugal for 3 weeks and you form a team with 4 other people from around the world around an idea, and you go from idea to pitching to investors in just 3 weeks. So it is the breadth of knowledge of innovation and entrepreneurship for sure. Very fast paced. It is quite the stressful thing. You get to do it in a beautiful place though. So that's kind of wonderful. But I will say here, we don't yet know if we are going to be going to EIA in summer of 2025. But in the event that we do not, there will be an alternative option for students to be able to get out and be around as with support of the program. So it might be something we have more domestic. We're just looking for things that are, one, giving that international experience, but that really help our student. It's really equitable for all of our students. We get some international students, and that travel abroad can be really difficult once they've entered the United States. So just looking to be student-centered, to be student-focused in that. But as of right now, the plan is that we will be in Portugal. So the next one that we have here, INNO 691, that can technically be an elective. So it is an elective essentially, but we need one of those electives to be at 600 level. So any elective at the graduate level for spring, or they can switch places. It's pretty flexible. But ultimately, we put that 691 there to know that you have to have one of your electives at the 600 range. But it doesn't have to be coming from INNO. It can come from other units as well, which we can help you get into. And then in the fall semester, that's where you would finish the second half of your capstone. So you can also finish that in summer in the event that you do not attend the European Innovation Academy. Those two things are too heavy lifts to be doing at the same time. So in that case, you would be able to finish in summer 2025 if you did INNO 610. But 652 is a few different things. It's a very unique way to finish your master's program. One, you don't have to be in Richmond. You can do this from wherever you want in the world. And the reason for that, or one of the reasons for that, is because the most popular way to finish that course is to do an internship or a job in product in some way. Yes, we will help you with our network, introduce you throughout the program and those kinds of things, so that you can hopefully finish the program the way you want to, but you could also finish it by continuing the project that you started in 651, maybe forming a business and actually working it towards maybe a Kickstarter campaign, depending on what it is. But how do you get that funding to successfully launch your company, which we've seen quite a few students do. You can also finish it by doing a traditional master's thesis, so writing about a theory in innovation or entrepreneurship. But I have to tell you, no one ever does this because we're an applied program, but it is absolutely an option for you to form a committee. Some of our students who are interested in getting PhDs consider it, but most of the time they're either continuing their own business or deciding to go out and work in industry as part of that finishing. So you can move around the world if you want to and still be able to attend class remotely, to be able to have those discussions and talking about what you're experiencing in your first job in innovation or in product with your colleagues and peers. So anyway, that's a whole lot of information about a lot of numbers on this particular page, but I'll let Mary Chris pick it up with the part-time option.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So I think what's really unique about our program, because we are an accelerated full-time program, if you're looking at that and you're thinking, wow, I'm really very interested in it, but I want to balance this with work, it doesn't feel like accessible to be able to go full-time to school right now. You do have an option to do the Masters of Product Innovation part-time. And what's really unique about that is it only takes 2 years. And so if you were looking at a kind of more traditional 60 credit master's program, it would take about 4 years to do that part-time. But since ours is accelerated full-time, you can complete it part-time in 2 years. And as we've mentioned all along, electives can shift around. Things can look a little different than they are on this page. But you may have noticed on the previous slide, the 500 series is only offered the 501, 502, 503, 590. Those are fall-only classes. And so you can see how they sequence out here. If you're going part-time, those have to stay in the fall. The 651, first part of the capstone where you're doing that entrepreneurial experience, has to be done in the spring. It's only offered in the spring. So those are, and the 500 courses have to be done before that. So this just kind of gives you an idea how those sequence out. And again, we can be flexible with electives and different things like that. One thing I will mention here is that final course, the 652, is an online course that you can do from anywhere. But just to be extra clear, pretty much everything else that we offer is an in-person course. And so you have the flexibility in that final semester to take an internship or to go to an accelerator that's not in Richmond, Virginia. And we love giving you that flexibility. Similarly, in the summer, some of our classes are online because some of our students that are starting in the summer, it saves them the kind of strange, like, I have to move to Richmond and then I'm going to Portugal kind of cadence of things. But, just to be really clear, our classes are, for the most part, in Richmond, Virginia. You do need to plan to be on-site and local for the courses, except for that final semester where you're completing 652. But again, this is a lot of what I work on students with is, what does this look like for you as an individual? Where do you take those electives? Do you want to take additional electives, which is completely fine. You have to have 6 credits, but you can have more than that. We offer a lot of 1 credit electives. So sometimes students finish with like 7 credits because there's a 1 credit that just really catches their eye. But this shows you how it can be completed. And Allison, I'll turn it back over to you to talk through some of the perks of being an MPI and the resources that we offer for our students.
Excellent. Happy to. So one of our favorite things is to take feedback from our students and to figure out how we can make their experience better. Heck, I even spend the entire last evening of 590 just talking to students and trying to figure out, like, what was really great about your experience so far? What are things that were confusing or that we can improve upon? How can we do things better, right? How can we make things clearer for you? So in part of that, we have developed a few things along with, I don't think we even have it on here, which is kind of surprising. But we have a mentorship program where all of our students come to talk to different mentors in the program. So Garrett, myself, a couple of our faculty are mentors. And so as you have questions or you're thinking through these really tough ideas or what you might do for your capstone, we are all here to be able to have those conversations, connect you with individuals for future jobs, really expand your network, those kinds of things. So that's a regular part of the program. But on top of that, you get to use Shift Retail Lab. Garrett did a great job of explaining what that is. So if you just want to learn about a product that you're developing, you have an idea, you can become a shelfie and put up a poster and ask questions that people can do dot voting or various things. So you don't have to be there while you're gathering information about your particular product. Every student who comes through the program gets to use $1,000 towards their capstone. So that can be buying supplies to be able to bring people in for a focus group, or to just prototype a physical product that you might have, or even go attend a conference. I think we have students this semester who are working on a game design, and they're using part of their funding to go to a gaming conference. Great use of their time. They get to see and talk to people who have a lot of experience in gaming and game theory and be able to advance themselves. Oh, we do have it on there. One-to-one mentoring. I just completely looked past it. Thank you for just giggling at me, Chris. Very much so a big part. Of course, it would be on this list. One-on-one mentoring and network access. We are all about that. I tell students all the time, if you see someone on my LinkedIn or you have an area of the world that you want to work in, just ask. Even if there's someone I'm not connected with on LinkedIn, I will gladly reach out to them on behalf of students to tell them how awesome our students are, because that is a great way of being able to get your foot in the door, and just be able to have a conversation. Take somebody out to coffee so that maybe they remember you later when you apply for a job, or just to help you figure out what you want to do in the future, because not every student we have immediately knows what they want to do as their next step. We offer fellowships, scholarships. We do have a mostly full graduate assistantship. So it is about $25,000 in a stipend. You would work 20 hours a week for the Da Vinci Center, and just receive part of that stipend throughout 1 year. That also comes with partial tuition support, so not full tuition support. So there is still some that's left. And just know that a lot of these are for full-time students. But as they come available, as we have investors and donors bring stuff forward, we make sure that all of our students are aware, because you can make the decision to go from part-time to full-time, from semester to semester if you wish. But the fellowship programs are pretty cool. Students get to pick a subject and kind of deep dive, and they get $10,000 throughout the year. And so all they have to do is give presentations and talk about what they've learned, the network that they've built. And in fact, we're going to do those pretty soon here, for the next round of our student fellowship awardees. You also get free access to Adobe Creative Cloud. That is something all VCU students get. We are an Adobe Creative Campus, one of 30 actually. And then we do have a makerspace that I've mentioned. It has things like laser cutters and vacuum form machines and 3D printers and lots of hand tools and various things. Maybe you've seen some of the pictures as we've been flipping through, but a place to kind of do early stage prototyping. And I just got to let you know, if you ever want to prototype with me, it will mean everything. It's like a vacation from my job to be able to prototype with students. It's so much fun. Really love to build things. And then also, as if you get to a point where you want to develop things a little bit further and do more refined prototyping, we can get you access to the College of Engineering makerspaces. And a lot of times we'll even pay for our students to go through those non-credit bearing classes, those training programs, so that students can have open access and use of their spaces. Pretty impressive equipment that they have in that space.
All right. So if all of this sounds really good and you are interested in applying, which we certainly hope you are, we have some upcoming deadlines that we want to highlight. If you are an international student, our deadline for fall is going to be March 15th, just to give us plenty of time to work with our Office of Global Education, to think through having a visa issued and getting all that paperwork done. So March 15th is the deadline for fall for international applicants. For all other applicants, June 15th is the deadline for our application for fall. You'll notice here, and this is also posted on our website, but go ahead as you're submitting your application and pencil in a save the date for interviews. So for international students, March 27th, sometime in that noon to 6 Eastern time, we will see where you are and hopefully be able to pick the best possible time for you. So you're not having to do an interview with us at, 4 a.m. your time, but just kind of hold that general block of time. The interview takes about 2 hours. So we are not bringing anyone in for a 6-hour interview. We're just asking you to hold that block of time so that we can pick the best 2-hour window within that time. And then for those of you applying by June 15th, June 26th, again, 2 hours during that noon to 6 block will be your interview. These are group interviews and they're really fun. We're using Lego Series Play. More to come on that once we get to that stage for you. But it's a chance for you to get to know us a little more, us to get to know you, and hopefully you to get to know some of the other people that you'll be learning alongside in the MPI. So as you're applying, do go ahead and pencil in those dates and times for your interview, so that you'll be able to attend those interviews. And those are virtual. There is no need to travel to Richmond for those interviews. We'll be doing all of that virtually. I will also just encourage you, those are our deadlines. And I think we all have a tendency as humans to apply close to a deadline, but you can apply anytime. So the fall application is up and live. You do not have to wait till June 15th to submit that. We would love to review it before then. We may still wait until that June 26th interview date, just because we have those very strategically set up and a bunch of time held on our calendars. But no fear that you have to wait until June 15th to apply. If you're ready to apply, go ahead and apply right now. And if you're wondering how to do that, you can go to our website, which is listed there. We'll also have it on our final slide. Click on Programs, Graduate, learn more about the MPI, and then Apply Now, which is going to take you out to an external page. And so that takes you out to the graduate schools page, where you are going to be looking for the Apply for 2024 terms, and you are not applying to Wilder School or School of Social Work. So you're going to click on that application that says application for all other graduate programs. So just wanted to kind of give you a slide here. There are probably more clicks than we would like as experienced designers for there to be. And so wanted to kind of break that down for you a little bit. And that's where that form lives. And then also what you would need to submit by that deadline. There's a statement of intent that you can go in and look at, and you'll want to have that written. You need to put your resume up. This is just the resume you use for anything. So if you are coming out of undergrad, the one you've created maybe for applying for jobs, if you are already a professional in the working world, the one that you use most up to date with your current role. But there's not like a special resume that you need to recreate for the MPI. This is just your resume up to date. We need the name and email addresses of 3 references. You do not have to go out and get reference letters to attach them to the electronic application. You just need to get permission from the folks that will be writing your references to, give their email address on the application form. Once you submit your application, they will get an email and an electronic form to fill out and a place to upload a formal reference letter. So all you need to be able to click submit on the application is the names and email addresses. You do need to enter your transcript request in the system. And then there's a place for you to upload an unofficial transcript so that we can use that sort of in our initial evaluation. But we do need official transcripts from anywhere that you completed your undergrad education. And so if you completed your undergrad education, let's say maybe you did 2 years at a community college and then transferred to a 4-year university, we would need both of those transcripts to come in for you. If you are a VCU student applying to our program, you don't have to submit transcripts. You have to submit a request, but we will have all of those transcripts from any of your previous universities on file from when you initially applied to VCU. So you have to submit a request, but the graduate school will pull it, and you don't have to send us anything additional for that. I'll talk about these last 2 kind of in conjunction. Standardized testing is not required for anyone. So we do not require the GMAT, the GRE, any of those things. If you've taken them because you're applying to multiple programs and you would like to share those scores with us, that's fine, but we don't require it. We went optional on this in 2020, as so many graduate programs did, because it was very hard for students to get into testing centers. There were a lot of delays, and it was a great way to confirm what we had always thought, which is that the statement of intent, the letters of reference, the experience with the student in the interview are giving us just as good a feel for who you are as a person, than your test scores. In the past, if someone was coming right out of undergrad, we did want to see some test scores or a portfolio, or if they were coming from an arts and design background. Since we no longer require test scores, we also no longer require a portfolio. But if you would like to submit a portfolio, please do. And when I talk about portfolio, I think that always sounds very formal and official and like something that only designers and artists have. But more and more students really are developing personal websites where they are linking out to projects that they did in undergrad. You might be developing this as someone who is in your professional career and you're linking to presentations you've made, or perhaps you have something that's your professional career, but something else you're doing on the side and you have a website that showcases that. We would love to see those things. That really helps us get a feel for who you are as a student, as coming into our program, who you are as a person and an applicant. So that website can have your art on it, absolutely, but it can also have writing. It can have examples of training that you've done and public speaking. I'm giving you some examples of just things other people have done. One of the really fun things for us is if you do have a portfolio website, often that about page that you have written for that really helps us get to know you as a person in a way sometimes the statement of intent and resume don't. So we're happy to answer questions about this. We'll talk about our Q&As in a moment, but I do encourage you to share a portfolio, and I do not want you to think it has to be this very formal PDF of your artwork. It can be anything that you would like to showcase us. If you're coming from a design background and you have that traditional portfolio of design work, please share that. But I want people who are not coming from that background to also feel comfortable sharing the portfolio. And then we have some contact information up here. So feel free to reach out. That is our website that has all the information on it. It is likely that you probably found this video through our website, so you've probably already been there. And then we do have a main address, which is answered by a person, and things do get forwarded to the correct person. So this is one way to reach out, but I will also just mention, if you visit our events page on the website, we are going to be hosting regular Q&As. And so the idea is that you can watch this video and get all the general information out of the way, and then come to those Q&A sessions with your very specific questions around, I studied business in undergrad. What does this look like for me? Or I have been in the workforce for about 7 years. What does it look like to come back to school? What is the makeup of the students in your program? I do want to submit that portfolio. Where do I start? So those Q&As are times for you to ask Allison and I. Garrett will sometimes pop into those. We hope to have some current students or alumni from our program in those sessions. So you can say, like, what is it really like to be in the program? And we'll try to bring a variety of students who were coming direct from undergrad or coming from a professional career, or students that have families that they're juggling this alongside that. So please do look for those Q&A dates and come to those as often as you would like to, because again, we'll be answering your very specific questions about the general information that we provided today. Anything else, Allison?
I don't think so. Just thanks for tuning in, and feel free to reach out to us. We love to talk to prospective students, people who are just interested in what we do. We do it all the time, and this is something that we really love, and we hope you love it too. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day, everybody.